What if I told you that modern science is rewriting the history of an ancient people? For centuries, the story of Jewish ancestry has been recounted through sacred texts, oral traditions, and historical records. However, genetics is now unearthing secrets buried deep within human DNA. Secrets that confirm, challenge, and even expand our previous understanding of Jewish origins. Scientists have been painstakingly studying the genomes of Jewish populations across the globe, and the results are truly astonishing. From the small, secluded villages of Eastern Europe to the remote communities of Africa, individuals who identify as Jewish exhibit remarkable genetic similarities, despite being geographically separated by thousands of miles and historically divided by hundreds of years. How is such a phenomenon possible? And what does it reveal about the true origins of the Jewish people? These discoveries are not only surprising, but also profoundly significant. Ancient DNA retrieved from archaeological sites in the Middle East aligns with the genetic markers found in contemporary Jewish populations. This connection stretches back thousands of years, firmly linking modern Jews to the ancient Israelites who once inhabited the lands of Canaan. Yet, this is merely the beginning of a much larger narrative. As we delve deeper into the genetic evidence, it unfolds a tale of migration, exile, and resilience. It illustrates how Jewish communities dispersed across continents, yet somehow managed to preserve a shared genetic thread. Whether it's the Ashkenazi Jews of Europe, the Sephardic Jews of Spain, or the Mizrahi Jews of the Middle East, each group holds a unique piece of the genetic puzzle. Even more astonishingly, there are individuals in distant regions of Africa and Asia whose DNA suggests a connection to the lost Jewish tribes. Could these people be the descendants of ancient migrations, carrying the echoes of forgotten histories within their very selves? This video will take you on an extraordinary journey, a journey where science intersects with history and DNA serves as a time machine. We'll break down the key discoveries made by researchers, explore the genetic impact of the Jewish diaspora, and confront the controversies surrounding genetics and identity. Because this isn't just a story about the past. It's a living narrative written in the blood of millions, reminding us of the profound interconnectedness of human history. So get ready. The truth is more captivating than fiction, and we're about to uncover it together. The origins of the Jewish people can be traced back thousands of years, rooted in the ancient lands of the Levant, present-day Israel, Palestine, and the surrounding regions. But how do we know this? Thanks to advancements in genetics, scientists have traced the lineage of Jewish populations back to a common ancestral source that aligns almost perfectly with historical accounts of the ancient Israelites. DNA studies have revealed that most Jewish populations share a significant portion of their ancestry with individuals who lived in the Near East around 3,000 years ago. This timeline corresponds with the emergence of the early Israelites, who are believed to have formed a distinct group in Canaan. Bones excavated from ancient burial sites in Israel and Jordan exhibit striking similarities to those found in Jewish communities today, creating a biological fingerprint that spans millennia. One of the most compelling findings involves the Y chromosome, which is passed down through the male line. Researchers have found that many Jewish men, especially those in the priestly Kohanim lineage, carry a unique genetic marker that can be traced back to a single common ancestor who lived around the time of the biblical Exodus. This marker, known as the Cohen modal haplotype, is present across various Jewish groups, suggesting a shared paternal origin. However, it's not just about paternal DNA. Studies of mitochondrial DNA, which is passed from mother to child, have shown that many Jewish populations also descend from a small group of maternal ancestors who lived in the Middle East thousands of years ago. This maternal lineage provides an additional layer of evidence linking modern Jews to their ancient roots. The genetics not only prove continuity, but also reveal resilience. Despite centuries of upheaval, displacement, and persecution, the core genetic identity of Jewish populations has remained remarkably intact. Even as Jewish communities adapted to local cultures and environments, their DNA retained the imprint of their ancient homeland. What's truly remarkable is that this genetic continuity supports historical and biblical narratives. It demonstrates that the Jewish people didn't emerge from myth or legend. They are a living bridge to an ancient civilization whose legacy endures not only in culture and faith, but also in the very cells of their descendants. Science has transformed human history into a detective story, and in the case of Jewish ancestry, the clues embedded in DNA are painting an unbroken portrait of a people who carried their history with them from generation to generation. The Jewish diaspora is one of the most remarkable stories of survival and identity in human history. After the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, Jewish communities dispersed across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. What's astonishing is that despite the vast geographical distances separating them, their DNA still indicates a shared ancestry. Genetic studies have revealed that Jewish populations across the globe, from the Ashkenazi Jews in Europe to the Mizrahi Jews in the Middle East, all trace back to common ancient roots in the Levant. Nevertheless, as these communities settled in new lands, their genomes incorporated local influences through intermarriage and adaptation. For example, Ashkenazi Jews who settled in Central and Eastern Europe exhibit a mix of Middle Eastern and European ancestry. Scientists have discovered a genetic bottleneck event, during which the Ashkenazi population shrank to just a few thousand people during the Middle Ages before expanding again. This event resulted in distinct genetic traits that persist to this day. Meanwhile, Sephardic Jews who lived in Spain and Portugal, and Mizrahi Jews who remained in the Middle East, retained even stronger links to ancient Levantine DNA, reflecting their closer proximity to the ancestral homeland. What's extraordinary is how genetic markers serve as historical breadcrumbs, revealing not only migration patterns, but also how Jewish identity endured through centuries of displacement. Jewish communities maintained enough genetic continuity to prove their shared ancient origin. DNA has essentially validated what Jewish tradition has always claimed. No matter how far they traveled, Jews carried their heritage within them, inscribed in their very cells. This genetic unity is a testament to a people who refuse to be erased by history. One of the most fascinating aspects of Jewish genetics is the search for the lost tribes of Israel. According to biblical accounts, 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel were exiled by the Assyrians in the 8th century BC, seemingly disappearing from the pages of history. But could their descendants still exist today? Genetics might hold the key. Scientists have studied Jewish communities in unexpected places, such as the Bene Israel in India, the Limba people of southern Africa, and the Beta Israel of Ethiopia. Astonishingly, these groups carry genetic markers that link them to ancient Jewish populations, even after centuries of isolation. The Limba people, for instance, have a high frequency of the Cohen modal haplotype, the same Y chromosome marker found in Jewish priestly lineages. The Limba also have oral traditions of Middle Eastern ancestry, and their DNA seems to confirm these stories, suggesting they might be descendants of ancient Jewish traders. Similarly, the Beta Israel community in India carries mitochondrial DNA that traces back to the Middle East, aligning with their historical claims of Jewish ancestry. These genetic connections offer tangible evidence that remnants of the lost tribes may have survived and scattered across the globe. What's incredible is how these findings blur the line between myth and reality. The idea that people on opposite sides of the world could share an ancient lineage, and that this connection is still detectable in their DNA, speaks volumes about the enduring legacy of Jewish history. Every genetic discovery adds a new chapter to this unfolding story, demonstrating that even when history loses track of a people, their DNA preserves the record. And perhaps, the lost tribes were never truly lost. They were simply waiting to be rediscovered. Genetics has already unlocked astonishing secrets about Jewish ancestry, but the story is far from over. As technology continues to advance, scientists are delving even deeper into DNA, uncovering new details that could reshape our understanding of Jewish history and identity. One promising area of research involves ancient DNA. By extracting genetic material from archaeological remains in Israel and surrounding regions, researchers can directly compare ancient genomes to those of modern Jewish populations. This approach has the potential to yield even more precise information about historical migrations, population splits, and the impact of historical events on genetic diversity. Another exciting development is the study of epigenetics, which explores how environmental factors influence gene expression. For example, researchers are investigating whether centuries of persecution, displacement, and trauma left genetic imprints on Jewish populations. Understanding this could provide valuable insights into the intricate ways in which genetics and history intersect on a deeper level. Genetic research is also playing a crucial role in helping modern Jewish communities reconnect with their roots. People using DNA testing services are discovering hidden Jewish ancestry, re-establishing connections with lost traditions, and even finding long-lost relatives. This personal aspect of genetic discovery adds a powerful emotional dimension to the science, transforming DNA results into bridges between the past and the present. Of course, these discoveries also come with their fair share of challenges. The genetic diversity within Jewish populations is vast, and scientists must carefully navigate the complexities of identity, culture, and history. But every discovery, no matter how small, contributes another piece to the puzzle of Jewish origins. In many ways, Jewish genetics is like a living archive, a continuously evolving record of survival, resilience, and connection. And as research continues to progress, who knows what other secrets might emerge from the strands of DNA, waiting to tell the next chapter of this ancient and extraordinary story? Genetic research doesn't just connect Jewish people to their biblical roots. It also uncovers links to ancient empires and civilizations that have shaped their history. DNA evidence shows that Jewish populations share ancestry with people from ancient Mesopotamia, Phoenicia, and even the Roman Empire. For example, genetic studies have revealed that Ashkenazi Jews carry markers associated with ancient populations from the Eastern Mediterranean, overlapping with those who lived in regions ruled by the Babylonian and Persian empires. This aligns with historical events such as the Babylonian exile, when Jews were forcibly taken to Mesopotamia, with some remaining there even after returning to Judea. Meanwhile, Sephardic Jews exhibit genetic ties to the Iberian Peninsula, yet their clear Levantine roots reflect their migration through the Roman world. This finding reinforces historical records of Jewish communities thriving under Roman rule, spreading across the empire as traders, scholars, and artisans. One of the most fascinating discoveries involves the Phoenicians, the seafaring merchants who had a significant influence on Mediterranean culture. Genetic analysis suggests that some Jewish lineages may trace back to these ancient traders, hinting at interactions that have shaped both genetic and cultural identity. These genetic connections reveal just how deeply intertwined Jewish history is with the broader ancient world. Every migration, exile, and empire has left traces in the DNA of Jewish communities, preserving not only their own past, but also fragments of the surrounding civilizations. In this way, Jewish DNA acts as a living historical archive, documenting thousands of years of interaction, adaptation, and survival. The more scientists explore this genetic legacy, the more we come to understand the true interconnectedness of human history. Genetic discoveries have reshaped our understanding of Jewish history, but they also raise profound questions about identity. What does it truly mean to be Jewish, and how does DNA fit into this identity? Scientists have shown that Jewish populations share common genetic threads, yet they are also incredibly diverse. The DNA of an Ashkenazi Jew from Poland may differ significantly from that of a Mizrahi Jew from Iraq, yet both carry ancient markers linking them to the Levant. This shared ancestry reflects a deep historical connection, but it is only part of the story. Being Jewish has never been solely about genetics. It is also about the culture, religion, and traditions passed down through generations. Genetic research can trace ancient migrations and uncover hidden lineages, but it cannot define personal identity. For many people, being Jewish encompasses shared history, collective memory, and spiritual connection, in addition to biological heritage. At the same time, genetic research has helped individuals rediscover lost aspects of themselves. DNA testing has revealed hidden Jewish ancestry for those whose families were forced to convert during times of persecution. For some, these discoveries have initiated a journey back to their roots, reconnecting them with a heritage they never knew they had. Ultimately, DNA is just one piece of a much larger mosaic. It tells a powerful story of survival, resilience, and continuity. But the essence of Jewish identity lies in the living community, in the traditions, languages, and values that have sustained the Jewish people for millennia. Science may reveal where the Jewish people came from, but their enduring spirit and cultural legacy show us why they have persisted, and that is a story far greater than anything written in our genes.